everyone, this is Femery Balnigpitil, a second-year student of Norsu Shatun campus, taking a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in Social Studies. In today's video, we'll tackle about postmodern education philosophy. Is postmodern philosophy something you're familiar with? If not, I'm confident you learn a lot from this video. Have fun watching and learning. Postmodern Philosophies. Unit 3, Philosophy of Education and Personal Philosophy of Teaching. So here are the objectives of this topic. Define postmodern philosophy and examine postmodernism further. Discuss the goals of education in the postmodernism. And last but not the least, discuss the curriculum in the context of postmodernism. So today, let's proceed to defining what is postmodern philosophy. So what is postmodern philosophy? Postmodern philosophy simply means a philosophical direction which is critical of certain foundation assumptions of Western philosophy and especially of the 18th century Enlightenment. Otherwise, it emphasizes the importance of power relationships, personalization, and discourse in the construction of truth and worldviews. Postmodernists deny that an objective reality exists and deny that there are objective moral values. So today, let's define first the word postmodern. The post in postmodern suggests after. Postmodernism is best understood as questioning of the ideas and values associated with a form of modernism that believes in progress and innovation. Did you know that postmodernism is post because it denies the existence of any ultimate principles and it lacks the optimism of there being a scientific, philosophical, or religious truth which will explain everything for everybody, a characteristics of the so-called modern mind. Did you know that postmodern educators believe self-esteem is a precondition for learning? They view education as a type of therapy. So let's proceed to postmodernism. It includes various groups of philosophers who follow multiplicity. According to postmodernists, the aims of education are teaching critical thinking, production of knowledge, development of individual and social identity, and the self-creation. In postmodernism, the goal of the teacher is to provide things or learnings to the students so that the students can think critically and the students can gain knowledge from them. So we believe that the ideas of the philosophers are a symbol of creativity that guide us through a creative education. Teachers in postmodernism education simply guide learners to discover new things. They provide possibilities for people to discuss various topics and come up with creative solutions. Students learn to listen to other people's voices in this situation. They tolerate criticism from others and strive to think critically. They learn to respect people of other cultures and nations. In other words, in postmodernism, educators is just simply guide the students to discover new things. In this situation, students are willing to listen to voices or to other people's voices. Students, on the other hand, learn to respect other culture or other identities. And now, let's proceed to the goals of education in postmodernism. So, have you noticed or did you know that in postmodernism, there are the goals of education? Not? So, today, let's tackle it one by one for you to better understand it. The first one or the first goal of education is that education should help students construct diverse and personally useful values in the context of their cultures. So, in other words, education in postmodern help or assist learners in becoming independent, at the same time became productive. The next goals of education, probably the second one, is that education helps individuals construct their identities rather than discover them. Third goal of education in postmodernism is that education aims for a growing awareness of the radical diversity and potential incommensurability of the different cultural forms of life that sustain groups and individuals. So, in other words, if I were to say that education aims to be aware for various practices concerning individuals, building trust, respect, understanding, helps the different cultural forms sustain groups and individuals. So the last but not the least goals of education in postmodernism is that education aims to empower people to attain their own chosen goals, and only then that can individuals and societies progress. Did you know that this curriculum should include important values to teaching, which are as follows? 1. Striving for diversity. 2. Tolerance. 3. Freedom. 4. Creativity. 5, or the 5th one, is emotions. And the 6th is intuition. For you to be able to understand the 6 values that I have mentioned earlier, let's go back to the first one, which is striving for diversity. Does not mean that students shall be accepting cultural practices and beliefs without question. So, have you remembered in your first day of school or in a week of school, why does our teacher always ask about ourselves or who we are or where we came from? Probably, teacher asks those questions because they want to know our cultural practices, our ethnicity, our gender as well, and our beliefs, may it politically, socially, or religiously. They ask these questions in order for them to recognize our differences. So that is striving for diversity. The second values is the tolerance, the acceptance of the differing views of other people, and the fairness towards the people who hold these different views. Bringing different views leads to better problem solving. I think it's a yes. Intolerance, it is purely the acceptance of the different views, ideas, perspectives from the various individuals. Teacher, on the other hand, accept different views, ideas, perspectives from the different forms of learners or from the diverse forms of learners. Third is freedom. Considerable autonomy is given to both teachers, localizing activities in the classroom, and students in terms of their decision making. We all know that freedom helps both teachers and students. For teachers, freedom helps them to plan, to set up, or to localize activities in the classroom. While for students, it helps them in terms of their decision making. The fourth one is creativity. The ability to use the imagination to develop new and original ideas or things. We need to develop new ideas to be innovative as future educators, because that the students learn something from their teacher. The fifth one is emotions, expressing a strong feeling directly towards a specific object, which is accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. In other words, this has the substantial influence in the cognitive process on the behavioral of the students, like for example, happy, angry, mad, and a lot more. The last values being mentioned in the curriculum of postmodernism is the intuition. Intuition is the immediate cognition or a feeling that guides a person to act certain way without fully understanding why. Everyone, that ends our discussion for today. I hope you've learned and gained new knowledge in today's discussion. Again, this is Philosophies, a second-year student of Nursu Shatun campus, took a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies, saying, enjoy and have fun learning.